Okay, so let's get started then. Hope you like the new hair. It's a bit of a mess. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're all ready to go. We're going to do our first Tai Chi class, and I think I've sorted out the camera. I hope so anyway. Let's begin. So first we're going to do a tiny bit of warming up, and then we're going to start through and do our normal class as usual. I hope you can hear me as well. I can't really see what's written up there, so I'll just carry on. Hello there, yes. Okay, so let's go through and do some gentle warm-up. So first, the salute. And welcome to the class. And let's go through and do some practice. So first, with your feet apart, we're going to just gently warm up the body. So energizing the arms, falling down, and resting on your back. Let your head fall forwards. Soften the tail. Let the hips fall forwards. And soften the legs. Again, let the head fall forwards. Soften the tail. Hips. And legs. Forward. So we're gently loosening off the spine, using the weight of the head to help the body to move and mobilize. As best you can, try to rest the shoulders, let them hang. Feel that your whole spine is connected as one complete unit. Okay, and then the same thing to the sides. So imagine this light lifting of the crown. Then let your head fall over to one side. Feel a light stretch through your ribs, and then falling down through your legs onto the ground. Again to the other side. And falling down through the legs onto the ground. Now I have to be a little bit careful here, as it seems like it's a physical exercise, but really you're trying to feel the effects of falling. So it's strange because you have this lightness, but you also have gravity drawing you down. So you want this weight in the head at the same time as this light stretch through the spine. So you're letting the head fall to open the ribs, letting your hips fall to return. You may feel the neck start to open, like opening up the vertebrae. So just allow that to happen. You may feel that the shoulder tends to fall forwards. So if you can, draw slightly to the back. One key component is not to force yourself. So try not to push yourself over. Try not to hold either, but you're just letting your body move naturally from one side to the next, as if it's like a bamboo stalk or a thin reed. And then relax. So next we're going to open up the back a little bit, get the spine a little bit open. So with your feet still shoulder width distance, slightly close the hands, turning from your hips from side to side. So very gentle, very light. You might feel your back cracks. And again, just get into the swing of it, so to speak. Be very light through your body. The sensation of floating through your hips. Relax your shoulders. Relax your waist. Relax your knees. And even your feet. Do enough of these until you feel that your back becomes a little bit softer, a little bit more supple. A common thing that we tend to do is we try to just get the movements over and done with. But in Tai Chi it's the other way around. You're just moving until you feel the body starts to open and to respond to your movements in such a way that the joints inside are freer, more supple. I really, really hope you can hear me. So now you may feel the shoulders a little bit more relaxed, the hips are more relaxed. Okay, and relax. So next, let's open up the spine more, but from the back, forwards directions. So again, feet shoulder width distance, lightly stretching the arms, feel the shoulders start to open, feel the body start to open all the way through to the hips. Then your fingers as if falling forwards over something, dropping down. It's not important how low you go, but just the idea of hanging. Let the shoulders rest, let the head fall, feel a stretch through your back. Then to come up, the idea is to fall through your legs to create a circle, energize the palms, have the feeling of sitting down. And then starting again, a light stretch up, then the fingers fall, the arms fall, the shoulders and the back. Have your body weight slightly forwards on the feet. And falling through your hips, creating this circle, energizing the palms. And you're trying to equate the falling with the lifting. And one more time, forwards, falling down. And again, softening through the legs, make sure the knees travel forwards. There should be no stress on your back. If there is, then you went too far. And lightly press. As your hands descend, your crown lifts. Relaxing the shoulders, opening up the lungs, softening the legs, and rest. Okay, and give it a little shake. There's some little messages, I'm quickly going to read them. Wave, wave, wave. Okay, so let's go through then, and let's go through and do some Qigong breathing exercise. And I'm going to play some...
Bluetooth mode.
I'm going to play...
9 in mode.
I'm going to play some meditation bells. And during the bells, we're going to do this breathing exercise. So far we've connected the various parts of the body, the left and right, the inside, the upper and lower, the front and the back. And now we're going to connect the inside and the outside. So for this breathing exercise called Qigong, the idea is to do as little as you possibly can. So often we think I'm doing my breathing, I'm holding my position. It's actually a strange idea, but you're going to learn to fall on the ground. With your spiky new hair, this part will stay lifted all the time. Everything else is going to fall and descend towards the floor. And the biggest difficulty to overcome is hardness and strength in the legs. So we're going to do 5 minutes, and I virtually guarantee that your legs will start to bind to hold you up, and the challenge is to release them, to let them go. It doesn't take long, a couple of years, and you'll be able to do it just fine. So let's have a go. And when we're making our in-breath, we're going to try and fill the upper lungs, so around this region, through your back. If you're new to it and you haven't done any before, then perhaps just breathing through the lower body, this daime, and trying to open up your back. So I'll walk you through it, I'll stand you through it, and but first, let's have a go. So with your feet shoulder width distance, raising up the arms, open a little bit, and sit down. The way to sit is that your tail is heavy, your crown is light, soften the knees. So if you're standing up where your fist is, you would sit down until your hips are more or less in that same position. So you're resting here. Then envelop a ball. And imagine you're surrounding something, including your back, including your shoulders, including your body, as if you're encompassing and surrounding. Then breathe in to lift. And breathe out to fall. Again, breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And as you breathe in, feel the arms become lighter. And as you breathe out, let them fall. And the purpose is to soften the body while still being mobile. So it's sometimes called mobile breath. And you're not trying to time your arms with your breath. You're trying to feel that they're connected together. In such a way that the in-breath somehow carries the arms up. So as you're breathing in through the nose, the arms are inflated through the lungs at the back. And your palms ride the out-breath on the way down. In through the nose, inflating the back. A slight transitional pause, then out through the nose. Let the arms fall, let your fingers lightly stretch. And be careful not to breathe slowly, which might sound strange for breathing exercise, but you're breathing as you would breathe, and your arms are following. It's not a case of going as slow as you can, it's a case of slowing down by softening. So as you relax the body, your breath will slow, all on its own. And this is just one method to link the inside of the body to the outside of the body. You may start to feel some strange sensations running through the fingers or through your back. Just go with it, allow your body to move. If you're relatively new to it, your legs may be aching a bit, or your shoulders may be aching a bit. And this is the body's indicator telling you where there's too much stress or tension. And that's our 5 minutes. So relax. Alright, so give a little shake off. And we're going to work a little bit on our forms. And I've kind of set out a plan which I'm sure all of you have seen on Facebook already. And I'm going to go through the 10 steps today, and then some of the 8 steps and the 16 steps. Even if you're accomplished in the practice of Tai Chi, I would say pretend you've never done it before. And commonly, a good way to learn is to have no past. So whatever you're practicing, see it for the first time. So let's have a go. We're going to do just a few movements, and then I'll gradually add to them. If ever you get stuck or it gets a little bit too much information, just stop there and then see if you can try it on your own. But I will try to repeat the movements often so that you can always come back to it. So the first movement of the form, regulate the breath. Regulate the breath. So with your feet together, I'm going to turn my back on you, I'm really sorry. But just so you can follow, feet together, we're going to step to the left and regulate the breath. So let me show you first from the front, so just watch. So the left leg steps. As you do so, the crown is still light, the tail is still heavy. You're not going to lift your arms, it just appears that way. But you're going to take an in-breath, just like the Qigong exercise, and let your arms float up. And then let the elbows become really heavy, and the knees, and the hips, and the palms. To here. So follow me. So lift, fall. Just going to change the music. So your left leg steps. Let your body weight fall. Open your fingers. Let the arms float up. Breathing in helps. Let the elbows fall, the hips and the palms. And again, until your body reaches more or less where your fists would be. So if you're here and you sit down, your fists would reach more or less to your hips. Common mistake is to lean forwards, backwards or to the sides. Avoid this. Again. Open the fingers. Lift and fall. And again. Prepare. Open the fingers. Lift. And fall. From the side. And check yourself if you can, your posture. Be careful of this. And instead, and be careful of this, or the other way, or tension. Whenever any part of your body moves downwards, you don't need to move. If you undo something, do less than you were doing, you'll move downwards. So we're going to utilise the resource of the idea of gravity falling down. So the weight of your elbow, the weight of your wrist, the weight of your palms, and in fact the weight of your entire body falling through your legs onto the ground. So although it looks quite simple, looks like just lift and fall down, it's not that. It's the idea of connecting your body from the inside and being aware through the senses of the inflation of all the joints, 13 major joints all at once, and then as if the air is escaping from the balloon, so you're now falling down and resting on the ground. So let's do that once more, and then I'll add on a piece. So your left leg steps, energize the fingers, your arms are floating up, soften the legs and the back. Sit down, the elbows are so heavy, the palms are so heavy that they fall. And more or less the height, shoulders, or just below. Then shoulders as you sit. And then the waist or the hips as you fall. So this idea of being drawn out and then let go. Okay, so just watch the next part. We're going to go into hold the ball and so far this, in the Beijing forms, this is the beginning of all the forms. So we have our step. We have the fingers lightly expanding from the inside. This raising of the arms. Heavy elbows. Heavy palms. Soften the legs. So from here, your right hip is going to soften a little bit. Because of that, you'll turn. Then bring the left leg back. Hold the ball with the right hand on top. Now from the back, take a step. Energize the fingers as if your arms are being pulled forwards, then up. Soften the elbows. Press down. Now right side, soften. Hold the ball. So your left leg comes back, your right hand on top. And the height of your arms are describing the same height as we practiced just now when we did regulate the breath. Shoulder height, here. Waist height, here. So we call everything between heaven and earth. It's a ball shape, as in it's three-dimensional, so it's not just the top part and the lower part, but including your arms, including your wrists, including your fingers, including your body. Every part of you is surrounding this space. So, again from the back. Energize the fingers. You're being drawn up. Empty the elbows. Empty the palms. Soften the right hip. Turn. The left leg comes back. Create this hold ball position. Now, one interesting thing is at first we need to coordinate. Try to coordinate the body together, but eventually we want to link the body together to itself. And that's actually what the beginning exercises were for. And as one idea is your hand can carry your leg when you're making the hold ball position. The arm carries the leg, or the other way, the leg supports the arm. And your left side supports your right side. So if one side's falling and coming in, through your body, it almost assists the other side going outwards and in. So commonly we make the mistake of just coordinating, but instead try to think that every part of your body relates to every other part in such a way that when one part moves, it affects everything else. So when you're here, from the end of regulate the breath, even softening your hip turns your body so your arms will move. And the temptation is to move the arms, which is a different thing altogether. So Tai Chi is considered as an internal system, as in you're focusing on the inside connection, not on the outside external coordination. Well, that was clever. I should write that down. No, it's on video. I'll catch it later. So this idea that it's the inside connection, not the external positioning. So when you're in the hold ball, avoid, and instead everything connects and links to everything else in such a way that everything happens to move at the same time, but internally, not externally. Let's go through it a few times. So here, shoulders resting. Here the chest sinking. And the crucial and difficult part, the legs are falling. So you have this lightness, this bungee feeling through your spine. So have a go on your own for a second whilst I read some of these things. Hi Gail, hi Scott, good to see you here. So have a little practice on your own. One of the really odd things about teaching Tai Chi, oh, you probably can't see it, but I've got a table here which is the camera's balancing and resting on all these things. So teaching is like passing something to a person as a gift. The other half of that is the learning. The learning is the student. So let's say I'm the student, which I am. I have to steal what you've offered and take it from you. And one of the odd things, generally speaking, I've noticed through the years, is that we tend to want to only follow. But the hardship and where the learning happens is when you steal it for yourself. So I know it sounds a bit strange being on camera and everything, but don't rely on following someone, rely on them for the information, and then you take that information, assimilate it into your own system so that you understand the teaching yourself. It's not a mental thing, it's something that your body must take as well. So I'm going to go through it a few more times, so hopefully you've done a few already yourself. So let's go through it again. So first, light through the crown, heavy through the tail, relaxing through the shoulders, the back and the legs. Take a step, energize the fingers. Raise through the breath. Soften the elbows, falling down, pressing down. Your right hip softens. Turn the waist. Your hand carries your leg into this whole ball position. Just quickly check shoulders, chest, legs, and turn. Energize. Fall. Release the hip, turn. Hold the ball. Take your time. Feel the body. Turning through your center. Hold the ball. So a few points. As you're lifting the arms, this is something that you must do. So you're using the breath to help, if it helps. Falling, you don't need to do. Just the idea of doing less, or undoing something, and your body falls anyway. You can transform the falling action into a turning action simply by letting go of one hip. So just by falling down, let go of one hip as you're falling, and your body will start to turn. And then you can use that momentum, almost, to continue you around into this position, the whole ball. The idea is to use as little energy as possible to conserve your strength and not to be too strong in the muscles. Rather than using the muscles, we will try to utilise this softness and the efficiency of the body by doing less. So it's a very difficult practice because all our lives we tend to do more. And I would have mentioned it in the classes, it's kind of like building a clay statue, we kind of add more to it. The internal practice is the opposite. You have the wooden block, like the tree trunk, and you're chiseling away at it and removing all the things that you don't need in order to reveal the sculpture beneath. So here it's the same idea. You're not trying to make actions. The actions are a way to feed the body and to try to energize the internals and awaken the internal system, not the external system. And oddly, the muscles are considered external systems. So if you think of the springiness, the tendons inside the body, try to use those instead. So again, I'll leave you to practice just for a second or two whilst I read a few more of these things. Okay, I can't quite read those, but never mind. It says, I think Denise says that you can't get on if you're not friends, but as long as you can get onto my Tai Chi Facebook page, should be okay. So Tai Chi Andrew. If there are any problems, then I'll try to sort them out after the class. So let's go through this first movement again, and the second movement, and I'm going to add on the third posture. Now Tai Chi has four main energies, four main jings, which are Pan, to expand, Lu, to release, squeeze, Ji, and to press, An. So we're going to do the first of those energies. So let's practice on the first movement, the whole ball, which is a transition, and then the first energy, Pan. So have a look first. So I'm stepping to my left. On the video, I think it looks like the right to you. I think it's reversed it as I flipped the camera. But you're stepping with your left leg. Falling. A slight release of your right hip. Hold the ball. Then take a step to your left. Stroke your wrist and slide your back heel. And this idea of expanding your back. Expanding from here, falling and lifting at the same time. Your hand more or less in line with your throat. The other hand more or less in the same plane as your knees. Not the same height, but the same plane as your knees. Most exercises, the back will tense and bind. Instead of that, let your tail fall down. Not push, but fall. Initially, we're so used to holding the tail up that we don't know what that feels like. We can't experience it very well. But as best you can, the tail is heavy, the crown is light. If it helps, this light stretching through your neck and this idea of being soft all the time. So have a look once again. So we're stepping to the left, opening fingers, energizing, and fall. Your right hip softens, your left leg back, hold the ball. Then as you step, your elbow and your hip move together, stroke your wrist, expanding the back. And very important, let your heel slide through 45 degrees on the end. So the ball of the foot stays down and the heel slides back. So you're allowing the body to turn, let your body weight hit the ground, let your back expand and open, the tail falling down. Often you hear that the tail is tucked underneath the body. This is just a teaching method because most people hold the tail back. So if you tuck it underneath the body, it will get closer to the correct position, but it's not the correct method. So the position may be correct, but the method is more important. The method is to undo stress, to release tension, to lose this resistance in the body. So a better goal than tucking underneath is to soften. And our minds tend to think, I understand that, therefore I should be able to do it. It's not really true. In this practice, it's a process. It's not a system of learning shapes. So as you're going through the process, it's the process of chiseling away at that wooden block. You're letting go of things in order for your body to find a natural way. So don't think, I want to get the position right. Think, I want to get the method right. The method is to lose resistance, lose stress. So I'm going to do it from behind. And again, I don't know if the camera's flipped it or not, so have a look. Take your step. Energize the fingers to connect the arms to the back. Lift. Empty the elbows, empty the palms. Slight turn to the right. Hold the ball. Take a step, stroke your wrist, fall onto your leg, slide the back heel back, and expanding from the back of the body. So key components at the end of this posture, relax your shoulders. The temptation is to hold the arm up, but actually you're resting down. The other hand tends to be held as well. We're very used to holding on to stress, so we like holding on a lot. Instead, have the idea of pressing down. It's kind of like a big balloon or something. So imagine the balloon here, and you're lightly going to press down by falling with one side, your right hand. And because you're pressing down on this balloon, it expands and compensates somewhere else. So the pressing down of one side of your body is linked and helps to encourage the other side to go out and up. Again, you're not really trying to coordinate the two things together, but just the idea that the method that pressing on one side inflates another side. And gradually our mind can be retrained to its original state, as in it's one body. It's not one torso, the right hand, the left hand, the legs. Instead, everything links with everything else. Not coordinates, links. So as best you can, this idea of finding this internal connection, your one ball in the shape of you, with your dodgy hair, and the idea that everything is connected to everything else through the tendons, not through the muscles. So the movements are to expand from your back, as in pung, the first energy. Chase, chase. Oh, we need to catch up. Chase. Chase is on. A very good friend who is the nice, top-notch, amazing guy you'll ever meet. Really fantastic. He can do like 17 somersaults in one go. I'll catch up to you later. But anyway, I've forgotten what I was saying. This linking of the body. Everything must be linked together from the inside to the outside, including your fingers, including your legs, including your waist and your body. Everything moves as one. So let's go through it again. And the key is to practice. And I realise I'm talking a lot, nothing to do with nerves at all. So I'm going to carry on for you to follow. And as best you can, try to steal it from the video. So try to take away and take on the aspects, the methods and the teaching for yourself. So from the beginning. Regulate the breath. Fall. To your hip height, turn. The hand carries the leg. Hold the ball. Take a step. Slide the back heel to the back. Relax the shoulder. Fall through the tail. Lifting through your crown. Your eyes, and therefore your mind, focusing all the way out into the distance. And it's such an amazing feeling. You're floating there. You're floating there. You're not holding yourself in a position. You're not in a prison. So undo this physical tightness of the body and allow yourself to just be here, just resting, absolutely soft. And you're floating here, not making a shape. It's not a system of shapes. So let's go through it again. We're going to do 3 or 4 times and just follow along, then I'll add on a little bit more. So lifting the crown, falling through the tail. Step to prepare. Energize the fingers. You're being pulled forwards. Then falling using gravity to draw the elbows down and the palms and the legs. Transform into a turn. The hand carries the leg to hold the ball. Take a step. Be aware of your back. Stroke the wrist. Slide the back heel to the corner. Let the tail sink. The crown lifts. Make sure, I hope you can see, but make sure that your stance is in such a way that there's a space running between your feet. Avoid having your feet on a straight line. You're not walking on a tightrope and twisting the spine and the hips, which is very hard for your balance. Instead, accommodate the width of your hips. So here. Here. Second, you're not trying to lunge forwards. You're not trying to move forwards. It's very strange in Tai Chi. You don't move forwards. You don't move backwards. Which sounds really crazy. But the idea is you're not trying to move that way. You're relaxing that way to the ground. So if you were to press on something, I don't know if you can see this. Oh yeah, you can see my wooden man. So if you were to press on something, so pretend I'm here. Oh, can't quite see, but as if you're pressing on something. If you were to lift your front leg off the ground and relax it, your body will try to travel that way. So if I do something like this, and I take my front leg off the ground, gravity pulled me that way, and my body travelled that way to the front. So you're not trying to move forwards, that's the effect of using the method of falling. Oh, another great tip. So the forwards action is achieved by relaxing your front leg. Now you're not going to lift your foot off the ground, but if you were to do it slowly, your foot would stay on the ground, but the effect would be that your body will travel from the back to the front. So by relaxing your leg, your body travels. Unfortunately, again, we like to do as much as possible and to work hard. It's the other way, it's the other end of the scale. So it's not a lunge forwards, and it's a very important point. You're not trying to go into a forward stance. If you do, your knee will be under a lot of stress, which is okay when you're young, fit, agile and strong. But for those that aren't, it's quite damaging on the knees. So Tai Chi is a practice for life, not for youths, not for the young only, but to be carried on through to old age. So if you do this way a lot, this is great for, if your body's able to cope with that. But in this practice, you're really falling onto the ground. So really, where your foot is the point at which you're trying to reach. So when you're expanding your back and resting your front leg, the effect is that your body comes forwards and this shape occurs. So one side pressing another side, not lunging forwards, not trying to hold your legs to keep your balance. You're actually resting, you're just falling here. So your body weight falls to the ground. Okay, so that's for the 10 steps. Again, please steal it from me. So take the 10 steps and have a little practice on your own. If you're new to it, welcome, by the way. A bit late now to say that, but if you're new to it, hope you managed to capture some of those ideas. Even if you didn't, just try to take one or two bits that you might remember and work on those. A hardship is we very often try to remember the whole thing. Remember that Tai Chi is practiced slowly so that you can look at individual parts. And throughout the process of learning, it's going to take some time. Even really silly things like just lifting the arms and then falling down. Even that will take some time for the mind to get out of the way and for your entire system to realise how can you move in such a way that you don't need force, you don't need muscular tension. So just the idea of relaxing and softening and using the method of Tai Chi to mobilise the body. It's not a system of exercise, and in fact Tai Chi is a pretty poor exercise because you don't really do much. So if you're new to it, then I would highly recommend that you just stick with what we've done so far. I will be reviewing it again later on in the week, but if not, then next week. So for those that are doing the 8 steps, which is the next form, then let's continue and have a go on that. So the 8 steps is strangely slightly longer than the 10 steps. But let's go through it, and it starts off the same as the 10 steps as we've just been practicing. 10 steps because it has 10 movements within the form. The 8 steps is more mobile, and we're going to do just the first 2 or 3 movements. Oddly, the beginning of the form is the same as earlier, as previously, so we can just borrow that and add it to what we've just done. So the 8 steps, I'll just get you started. Watch from the front first. So it starts off the same, taking our step, regulating the breath, energize, and rest. Hold the ball, same as before. And up to this point, everything's the same. But from here on in, it's going to be slightly different. On the 10 steps, we kind of went in a forwards direction with this ball kind of inflating ahead of you. In the 8 steps, it's going to be a sideways direction. So you're actually going to turn, and as if you're winding the body up, getting ready to throw a frisbee. So you're going to kind of turn and then settle on your front leg. 10 steps will be here, the 8 steps will be here, parting the wild horse's mane. So let's try together. Step. Energize the fingers. Regulate the breath. Lift and fall. Transform into a turn. Hold the ball. As you're taking your step this time, instead of going forwards, you're going to go more to the side. So the body rotates. Lightly touch the wrist, but you're now offering your shoulder. Fall down onto your leg so that your body turns and your hand covers your nose. The other hand pressing down on a ball. Same idea, you're pressing on the surface of a ball so that another part of it inflates, but the inflation is now around instead of forwards. So we have our step, energizing the fingers as before. Let the arms float up, fall down, and transform. So turn, hold the ball. This time the body turns slightly to the right, and then a big turn, and then just checking the tail, the crown, and the shoulders. Before, here, and now, here. Regulate the breath. Feel the body, feel the internal body moving. The external body only follows. So I'm going to go through it a few times more. Go through it as well, but try not to follow. Only if you get stuck, then just glance towards the camera or your screen and check. But this time you're going to try to steal some of the movements. One more. Then what you do on one side, you can do on the other. So the transition, you may not be able to see. The transition is to sit back. Turn your body until your foot and everything travels to the side. Hold the ball. And then just do the same thing on the other side. So a wide step. Aim, giving your shoulder first. And then turn to cover your nose. So I have no idea if it's going to help, but I'm going to stand this way, so maybe you can follow. So beginning the form, step, energize the fingers. Breathe in if it helps to raise the arms, soften the back, fall. Transform into a turn, hold the ball. Keep back round, take your step, offer the shoulder, then turn the waist, slide the back heel. Do transition, sit back to turn. Turn to the side, feet together, hold the ball. Take a step, offer the shoulder, and then the palm. Okay, hand again. Regulate the breath. Your body's moving and you're following that internal intention, softening through the hips, opening the back. Your hand carries your foot. Let the body turn, offer the shoulder, and then turn the waist. Soften the back leg to come back, turn and fall downwards onto your front foot. Again, take a step, offer the shoulder, then the palm. Okay, so this is the beginning of the 8 steps. For those that have done more, of course, I'm going to continue and progress through the however long we're stuck here, and I will progress each week onto so that finally we will finish the entire thing. With the 8 steps, even if you have done more, as I mentioned at the beginning, pretend you've never done it before. And that way the mind will be fresh, the mind will be like the child, it will be like a sponge absorbing information. And Tai Chi is very much concerned with the theory of yin-yang. So there are many contradictions or seeming contradictions in Tai Chi. One is that you would think that the advanced people, or if you be considered more advanced if you know more. Not in Tai Chi. Do less. If you want to learn more, go to the beginner's class. Generally, we tend to learn less in the advanced classes, but the mind has learned how to learn. So far, we've done our some warming up exercises to loosen and connect the body. We've done a little bit of our 10 steps, which is the principal form, in order to learn the ideas and the concepts of the energies of Tai Chi, the 4 Jings, Pang, Yu, Ji, An. And in the 8 steps, we've gone on to the next 4, and we've just started with split, part the wild horse's mane. So have a go on your own again. I keep forgetting to give you time to practice on your own. I'm going to give you 12 seconds to go on your own, whilst I read some more comments. Hi Tony, hi Graham, good to see you on here. Hope you're doing the same thing. Oh, that's one thing I meant to mention, is that many of the other instructors, Eddie Craig has already done several kickboxing live feeds, and just a big up to those guys. They're paving the way. And if you get a chance, I really hope that you can join in with some of their classes. Some of them are a bit strenuous, a bit more vigorous, like Eddie's kickboxing, which killed me after the first 4 press-ups, so I had to give up and phone the ambulance. And different instructors will probably be doing live feeds if they haven't already. Highly recommend you check them out and look up your instructor and then just check if they're doing something. If they are, then I'll see you there as well, because I want to also learn and practice. And yeah, don't really know what to say now. Let's go on to our 16 steps. For those that are learning the 16, and again, it won't be, I'm not going to do the whole thing just yet, just in pieces, so that we can gradually progress all the way through. I highly, highly advise that when you practice something like what we've just done, invest time in it, but more importantly, invest mind in your practice. Don't do what Silly here did for years and just think, well, if I just do it a lot, I'll get really good at it. No, if I just wave the arms around, I'll get really good at just waving the arms around. Tai Chi is a mindful, conscious awareness practice. So be careful not to dilute it into its external form, which is just the shapes. Rather than that, use the movements of the Tai Chi form and use those movements as the carrier of the information. And the information is to be mindful, to be aware that your whole body is connected to itself. Everything moves in relation to everything else. There's never one part that moves separately from another part. You're unifying your entire system. So with that in mind, let's do the 16 steps. So the 16 again starts the same way, but then it differs after the opening movement. So have a look first. 16 steps is to step to the left as before. Energize the fingers as if something's pulling you forwards, and then cut the strings and float down. That's where it changes. On the 16 steps, now your body will turn to the left instead of the right. Your wrists and your knee, right knee, float up. And then again, as if you cut the strings and fall. It's a movement from the back, really, not a movement from the arms. So again, step. Energize the fingers. Float up. Fall down. A slight turn to the left. Lifting the wrists and the knee. Let the elbows hang. And you're landing on your heel, So the toes lightly up, not pulled, but as if something's holding your toes and your heel has descended and fallen towards the ground. So as if something's grabbed your toes and your heel just falls. It's not a case of pulling the leg up. So it's called lifting hands, because your hands lift. The other side will be called strum the lute. This side is called lifting hands. And the idea is to round your back. So you're lifting from the lungs, strangely, and then falling from the elbows. So the idea is to open up the body, to expand a little bit, and then to drop through the elbows, but focusing your fingers and your palms. Energy in your body, if you focus to your elbow, energy will stop short, somewhere here. If you focus to your wrist, energy will finish, let's say, at your elbow. If you focus to your fingers, energy will stop at the wrist. Always fall slightly short. It's a bit like me and archery or something, or throwing a ball. You know, you think it's going to reach all the way over there, and actually it falls slightly less than you expected. So, the goal is to focus beyond the body. You have a physical body, of course, but you also have a mental body and an energetic body, and you're going to try and go beyond your fingers. So it's quite common to see the fingers, we think of them as being relaxed, but this is collapsed, not relaxed. So instead, lightly stretch. But the stretch is from the inside, not from the muscles. So the temptation is to stretch by pulling the fingers open. It's not that. It's not this pulling through the tendons here. It's from the inside opening outwards. You're expanding from the inside. So you'll notice there's kind of a critical point when if you go any more, your muscles start to resist and to pull. So don't go anywhere beyond that. So just the idea of focusing out. It's a mental focus, not a physical movement really. The physical is as a result of focusing something. So let's have a go. The 16 steps, we're just going to do that first two movements. So regulate the breath and lifting hands. Regulate the breath, falling through the tail, soften the left hip, the wrists and knee being drawn up, hang the elbows, land on the heel. Be aware of your back rounding and opening and the weight of the elbows falling down. Key points to consider, the knees, very important, your knees. As you're stepping, be careful not to twist the hips or to push the leg, but keep the hip nice and soft. You're lifting from the knee and then dropping down. As you sit down, it's very common to try and squat down. It's not a squat, it's falling. You're learning how to fall downwards through your body, through your legs, onto the ground. So avoid, as I mentioned in the earlier session, avoid squatting down. You're actually falling as if you're against the wall. I don't know if you can see this. As if you're against something and you're falling downwards. So the idea is that you're resting the tail and the crown stays lightly lifted. You may feel some slight incline forwards. This is okay, a little bit of variation is okay, but the weight of your body is slightly towards the front of the feet. So if you were to find the middle of the foot slightly ahead, just behind the balls of the feet, that's where your weight will be all the time. But really we want the weight of the hips to be on those points, the Yang trend points, the bubbling well. We want the weight of the shoulders to be on those same points. And we want the weight of the head to be on those same points. It's not a case of, in total, the composite body weight will be on those points. So the head's forward, the tail's back or something. No, your hips, your shoulders and your head. All resting on the same point. So if it's like a stack of bricks, those toy bricks, if you were to knock the middle part away, your head would still land and still be balanced. So if you're inclined and you knock the middle part away, your head will fall on the floor. That's really dodgy, haven't heard that before, but I hope you get the idea. So let's go through then the 16 once more, just that opening sequence. And then in a second I'm going to go through the 10, the 8 and the 16 for those that know more as a preview for what will be coming up. So the 16. On the 16, one particular challenge is the knee, which I forgot to mention earlier, and it's very tempting for the knee to collapse inside or to fold. Just be a little bit careful, just be aware of your lower body as much as your upper body. We tend to live in the upper part of the body, forgetting that we have legs and feet. They just carry on their own kind of thing. But notice that your knees always, in Tai Chi, they always follow your toes. Not because you make them, but because if you don't do much, if you don't hold tension, that's where they'll end up anyway. So your knee is following your toe, and be careful not to hold, which tends to collapse the knee inside. So keep the knee soft so that it follows the direction of your toes. So a very quick recap. We've done the beginning of the 10 steps, which was to step, regulate the breath, to hold the ball, and then to walk away. So again, to regulate the breath, to hold the ball, to inflate the balloon, sliding the back heel, ward away. We've also done the 8 steps, first few movements, which started the same, to regulate the breath, to hold the ball, to turn to the side, offering the shoulder, and then the palm. And we did the second part, which was also to turn, to hold the ball, wide step, offer the shoulder, and then turn. From this view, and we've also done the first 2 movements of the 16. Okay, so I've actually run out of time. I need a bit more time, really. Maybe I will do. I've worked out how to do the YouTube thing. I might call on the help of Mr. Will. But I've managed to do some. I did it last night until 3 this morning. And I managed to find out how to edit and to cut the clips and things. So what I will do is on YouTube, I will put up the entire 10 steps, the entire 8 steps, and the entire 16 steps as well at some point in this lifetime. I hope you all enjoyed the class. For me, it was really strange talking to myself. Well, I'm used to talking to myself, but it's really strange to try and give instruction to a little square of a phone. I really hope it worked. I hope you can all still see and continue the practice. So we're going to take a short break. I'm going to switch the camera off just for a second so that I can hopefully download it as well. And then we'll start off in about 7 minutes. And then we'll do some of the Martsen Quen Tai Chi, which is the same but different. Okay, well done everyone. Hope you're all surviving and even thriving in this strange current times. Hope no one's got this dreaded virus. If you have, speedy recovery. And any suggestions and things, please do send them to me. And I won't listen to them probably. But if there's something that I could adjust that might help easily, then I will do that. And again, I don't know what to say. So well done, everyone. Really great to not seeing you virtually. And until the next session.